welcome to the video. We're playing Disco Elysium. I'm back. I've got cats and dogs trying to get my attention. They're running around the room, chasing each other around. Whatever. How you doing? Happy Friday or whatever day it is when you're watching this. Yeah, we're going to play this game. I'm just looking at my skill points here. I've got a lot of free points left over. Oh man, they're howling. Howling down there. See, I like this Shivers one. Tune into the city. Shivers, Inland Empire. Huge pain threshold possible here. Somehow perception's thinking about perception really does it. What do we got in the old brain noggin? We have one spot left. Interfacing -2, huh? It is giving me a conceptualization bonus here. But, kind of like getting Shivers up. Just gonna pop a level into Shivers right there. Alright. I do believe it's time that we head to bed. It's 1 a.m. I don't see us solving anything right now. So, map it up and head to bed. Start a new day.
It's getting late, and it's raining. Time to call it a day.
We've got our gun back.
The bed is comforting, if a bit run down. Still, you've earned a rest.
Okay.
The bed underneath you is soft, if lumpy. Waves wash the sand underneath the hut, then grow distant to your ear. In the quiet hum of the organic heater, you fall asleep.
Oh, wow.
Like a deftly cast fishing net, sleep pulls you out of the world and into its dark shore. The rough mesh chafes, tightening around you, it digs into your brain.
Great, this is gonna be really chill.
How have things been going for you out there? Helped anyone lately? Saved anyone lately? Murdered anyone lately?
This bastard isn't even listening to you.
Because you know you are a murderer. A disco music listening psycho killer who offs poor people and then forgets about it.
Okay, so I'm a murderer and that's bad.
Hear that? He doesn't even flinch. Iceman doesn't care about killing people. That's nothing to him. Blackwater, under the bridge. The thing he's really scared of is much, much worse than that.
What is it?
Don't tell him, sister. It's too bad.
They're right. This is their function. To keep you from it.
Why are you doing this? I just want to sleep. I can almost see the dark.
We're trying to help you. All these processes, these tortures, voices and tremors are all just distractions, flares and countermeasures to keep you from the last dream. The worst of them all.
The last dream?
The last dream will be total annihilation. Cinders peeling off the fuselage. We won't be there to help you anymore, Harry. We will be dormant. You will be naked and alone.
And the air will smell of apricots.
Of hell. An ancient sadness, brother. 10,000 years later, in front of the video rental, there is a warm breath on your face again. Everything is okay again.
Everything is so okay.
Doesn't sound like it'll be okay.
Your eyelids flutter open for a moment. When you close them again, you sense the light of the room around you. You're back. In 2 seconds, the alarm will ring.
The last thought in your head before waking is, maybe you shouldn't have seen that stained glass window in the church.
Open your eyes. Good morning, officer. Alright, we're on Friday.
The scruffy-haired lip.
Okay. Let's see. Not much to do out here. Let's just get back into town, huh? These guys are still at it. How things looking inside? 7:30 a.m. Is everyone awake and doing their business? Yeah. She's gone. Okay, I still have to do karaoke.
Hey, was there something you needed?
Again?
Yes?
Okay. We're close. The animals are riled up below me. Let's make a call.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Yes, I got the mercenary's name and a
We got the deets.
Are you ready?
The lieutenant leans in to listen, notebook in hand.
I was born ready, baby.
That suit of armor was issued to an Oranese citizen named Ellis Tortenaer. That's Ellis Kortenier. Exact date of birth unknown. He was signed into the Lelystad County Neonatal Care Unit on 28th of February, '09.
Neonatal care unit?
He was found as a newborn in a leaf compactor near an abandoned farm. He spent 4 months in the neonatal unit, survived apparently, and was assigned to a foster family at 2. This is what the ICP knows about him. He was raised by foster parents, entered the Eastbrand Military Academy in Vredefort at 17, then served in the Oranese forces till he was honorably discharged in 41, just a year before the Seminese conflict. Then the armor followed him to Seminine, or at least I assume it did. And that's it. There are no records of his employment in Crenel, or any of its other incarnations, or him even entering Revachol.
Wait, he was found in a leaf compactor?
It's a garden tool used to press leaves into these cubes. It's a detail the hospital had, the only detail in these files. So I thought it would be good for you to know.
It is. Thank you, Alice.
Any information on his foster parents?
None, officer. Sorry.
So all we have to connect him to Crenel is this armor.
Even that is a small miracle. These organizations usually double-check their inventory. Thank you, Alice. Great work.
No problem, Lieutenant.
Well, we have his name and service record now.
A name. This is very good.
Hey!
Elise Cortenard.
Stop it.
This means something to him. To know that name. Like name in a case. It's
Stop harassing the cat. I love you, but you gotta stop harassing the cat.
important. Police work is about human dignity.
Do you wanna hop up here?
Names
Hey,
to anonymous
leave her alone. Hop up here. You goofy dog. I got a dog. She's pumped with energy and going after the cat. Are you being naughty? Are you being naughty? You're being naughty, aren't you? You're chasing the cat. You're chasing Esme, and you don't need to. Why are you harassing her? She just wants to chill. She's not running away. She's exactly where she's been.
I'm glad the inquiry was helpful to your investigation, officer. Did you have any other questions?
Please connect me to the 41st again.
Just a moment, officer.
10-4, come in, officer. Over.
I have successfully located my 9mm Villiers pistol. It's on me now and I won't lose it again.
10-4, sir. Roger that, and very glad to hear it. I will make relevant changes to the report.
10-10, over.
Roger that, 10-10, over and out.
This is Precinct 57. Just a second, officer. Sylvie Malaika. Yes, hello? Oh, great. What else do you need, detective?
Tess Classia's story. Was it you who called the police?
No, not me.
You know who made the call?
No, sorry. I don't. Not a lot of people have phones around here. Copper thieves take the wires. People don't have the money to have the cables put in again.
So the union has a phone.
Seems like Glacia wasn't lying when she said it was her. This corroborates her story. She made the call.
She is of the fairest of them all. The ugliness of lies would never escape her lips.
No, sorry. People don't.
So the union,
Seems like
she is of the
Yeah, go on.
You hear the call breaking up on the other end of the...
Anything else I can help you with, officer?
Done with the radio for now.
57, over.
In the cabin, you see a set of...
Okay. So there's 2 check marks. This... I guess we could check Kuno's apartment again. Determine where the shot came from is one important thing that we have to do. We have to talk to Joyce. Ask another about the victim's tattoos. Who else knows about the victim's tattoos? Okay. Let's think about things. The secret passage. I'm gonna have to go do that. I'm gonna have to bust the door down. I guess I.
A phone book lies open on the table, covering a stack of utility bills. Right next to it, in plain sight, sits a small bottle of amphetamine, conveniently equipped with a straw. You pocket the bottle as if it were the most natural thing in the world.
Okay. That's checked off the list. It's got a frickin' straw. Okay. I'm not gonna report back to Kuno. I've gotta do that. Check Boardwalk, Island, and Land's End, huh? I just have a little dog on my lap right here. Okay. This freaking dog. Okay.
Officer, care to play a game with the lonely old man? Actually, never mind. Wouldn't be the same.
Where's Renee?
The prick is gone. I can barely believe it, but he's really gone.
He is trying to retain his jolly facade, but the underlying sadness casts a deep shadow over
Gone?
his wrinkled face.
Gone where?
Hell, most likely. He was an absolute Kent.
How did he die exactly?
His hungry little heart finally gave out. The dock workers found him in the guard booth this morning. Wasn't even supposed to be working for another week.
Well, we've got to check that out.
To prove how tough he is.
Did he feel like he has to prove he can still pull his weight? Doesn't need handouts?
Yes, he was about to head home. Cause when the dock workers found him, he was wearing civilian clothes and not the Kuketu uniform I saw him in all the time. Sometimes I thought he was wearing it just to piss me off. Now the joke's on him, cause he's gonna be buried without it.
Do you think our conversation about his job pushed him to go out there?
No. Rene was the most stubborn man in Revachol. Nothing you or I could say would ever push him to do anything. The man was completely immovable.
He has doubts, but right now, he just wants to move on and not think about it.
Was he really that bad?
I repeat, an absolute Kent. Even his old army buddies didn't want him around. He was like an old viper. The only people who could stand to be around him were Jenny and me. She saw something in him when we were just kids and... And she never lost sight of it. And I thought if the most beautiful being in the world can love him, then there must be something worth holding on to.
Did you love him?
We've hated each other our entire lives. So much, in fact, that...
He falls silent and looks at you, eyes filled with tears.
Yes, I loved that angry prick. He didn't deserve it, but I did. You know what his last words to me were?
Tell me.
In Guillaume's time, you'd have been shot without trial. That's what he said to me. He lived a cunt, and he died a cunt. Let's leave it at that.
Here, something to remember your friends by.
Let me see. This was 60 years ago. We all went to that parade. Young René looked so happy, and Jenny... I'm sorry, officer. I just... Thank you. Thank you for this little memorabilia. It really means the world to me.
That was nice. A small thing for us, but invaluable to him. He probably didn't even know René had the photo.
I offer my sincere condolences.
Yes, we are both very sorry for your loss.
It is what it is. Part of life, really. But to know someone for 79 years, then one day they're just gone. I just don't know anymore. About anything, really. But you must need something.
I was hoping to ask him about Maybells.
René wasn't really what you'd call a botanist, officer. And believe me, he didn't like Insulindian lilies.
Wait, Insulindian lilies?
That's their old name, dating back to the time of kings and crests, and all that other stuff he loved so much.
Why didn't he like them?
There were many reasons, but mostly it was the communals. They called them the Bells of Revolution. I guess in the end, the Insulindian lilies were just another piece of the whole Insulinde. The royalists had to surrender to the Mazovian insurgents. It doesn't really matter anymore.
But you feel the dried flower in your hand somehow still does matter, although not to this sad old man.
I want to know a few more things about René, if that's okay.
Yes. What about René?
Yes.
It is. I just don't know it.
Did not expect that. Why am I walking there? I guess it was good that I'm walking, right? I encountered Gaston that René had passed. So I guess that just proves sometimes taking a little walkabout solves your problems or something. Shivers? You should come back here when it snows. A strange feeling. It passes quickly. Excuse me? Hey. Someone left the buck line on the ground. Money gained. So this all is well and good, but how do we get out to the...
Is there something here that would indicate a sniper used this place as a nest for taking the shot? Just some urban detritus, a bottle, and a dilapidated old comms tower. In the distance, you can hear the breakers roar.
I don't see it, Lieutenant W. Freitor. I don't see a person take a shot here and hit something there, in the whirling in rags.
Maybe the campfire was used by the perpetrator?
To warm his hands before pulling the trigger? Perhaps, but anyone could have made this. The coast is specked with fire this time of year. Truthfully, this seems like a very poor choice to take a 1.2-kilometer rifle shot from. Visibility is awful. There's water vapor everywhere. I think we can rule out biddable prime, was it?
Maybe the assailant climbed the comms tower, took the shot from there?
It's not possible to climb that ladder. And even if it were, why? There's no platform up there to aim from.
What about the cigarette butts?
Those? A smoking assailant who favors Tumutiri to Astra or Joan? Cigarette butts are everywhere. This is a common brand for all men.
Tumutiri was a Revacholian colony on Ilmaran. The Suzerainties population was mostly Ilmaran Areopagites, up to 97%. The region was known for its tobacco export, hence the name.
I want to know a lot more about this.
Oh, you do? The butts you saw had a silhouette of a boy wearing a coffee hat, a tobacco pickup. This boy is the Tumutiri brand logo. Contemporary Revacholians prefer Juan, a local blend from the southern islands, or Astra, a legendary cigarette from Grad. Tumutiri is favored by older men who like its old-fashioned paper filter tips, insane amount of tar, and the sweet smells of colonialism and halva.
Look over the water, the whirling in rags.
There, 1.2 kilometers over the cold water of the bay, blue from the distance and the air, you see the smallest rectangle, barely visible. A glowing light on the third floor of the whirling in rags. With binoculars, you would see a young woman's shape move behind the glass, her limbs long and slender.
Yeah. Hold on a second. My dog is whining. She just wanted to take a nap. Oh, I should have paused it. Take mental note. Geometry seems important somehow. So this puts us in a dill of a pickle. And what I thought, there's an island out there that we need to get to. Wait, let's change my tools up. The boardwalk. So, so you're back, huh?
Hello. Isn't this a fine morning?
Well, so far the boardwalk is very inconclusive.
There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper.
Okay, well, moonshine smells like fermentation. I gotta say, I'm about to bust down the door. Into whirling in rags. There's nothing out here. Boardwalk, more like board bust. See what I did there? Okay. Let's do some things. Let's do some things. Okay. Close. Okay, physical instrument. I think that's going to be the big one here. Conceptualization, no. I guess physical instrument is the one I need, not... Whatever. Kitty. Okay. We have to do this. We've got to. Our whole case depends on this. We gotta bust down this door.
Small, heavy door. No lock in sight. You kick it, gung-ho style. Entering the premises style. But the door fails to respect the force. All you hear is the bar rattling inside, laughing at you.
All right, let's trash the place.
Let's not.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. Time to scum this up. Let's go, Team Scum. Team Scum! We're doing it. We're gonna break this door in.
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight.
Now I gotta see what the roll is.
Gung-ho style. Entering the premises style.
12.
But the door fails to respect the
13,
force.
14, 15.
Is the bar rattling inside?
Yeah.
Laughing at you.
I can do it. On a double 6 roll, I will perfectly do it.
Small, heavy door. No lock in sight. You kick it, gung-ho style.
This is an annoying one because it's got to play like a little animation for us.
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight.
3%, huh?
You kick it, gung-ho style. Entering the
Let's put a point in the pain threshold, right? Or is it physical instrument? Yeah, why not? We got a level. What's this take it to?
The same small, heavy
8%?
No lock in sight.
Three to 3% to 8% is pretty good.
You kick it, gung-ho style. Entering.
That means I no longer need I no longer need to get a double 6. A 5 and a 6 will do it. So it's pretty good.
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight. You kick it, gung-ho style.
So I guess I probably should level that up. Quick save. Alright.
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight.
Oh, we did it! Very nice.
Something cracks inside. It is an unbelievably satisfying.
It was the 5-6. The level did it.
Nice.
Filling you with a belief in your own body.
Sounds like the property damage wasn't in vain, at least. Would it hurt to look in?
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Opening doors. This is juicy. Tiny hole in the wall. You can see a bedroom on the other
You
side.
can almost see the shape of a man and a woman writhing inside, bathed in drug sweat.
I think I can see Class A's bedroom from
Bottles
here.
lie around everywhere.
You can barely see through. Better not to jump to sensationalist conclusions here. The footprints on the floor, however, definitely suspicious.
What are people doing in there?
You lean closer to the peephole instinctively. I bet they're doing something quite unnatural.
Unnatural?
You clearly see footprints in the downy carpet of dust covering the workshop floor.
Jackpot. These, unlike everything else here, are new.
Someone's been here within the last week or two.
3 weeks maximum from the dust coverage. It could easily have been 1 week too. You know, officer.
This is good. He likes it. There's a little smile there, in the dark of the workshop.
It was a stereo investigation after all. It has now converged with our main investigation, adding a new fact to consider.
Okay, what does this mean?
It means someone snuck through what seems like a secret route leading to the roof. The roof from where you can shoot our victim. This is significant. These prints, officer, could be the prints of our killer. And if not, at least they're a good argument for this Ruby doing it, to present to Titus.
Let's have a closer look then. Crouch. Study the footprints.
Large prints, most likely made by boots. The size is hard to determine. Sole could be bigger than vamp. The soles have left a pattern, uniform, horizontal lines. One person has been here. They've gone back and forth. The tips point both ways. This print is unlike one left by a regular worker boot. It is not a brand sole with logos on it. It seems custom made or old-fashioned. Shoe size is 41 to 42, maybe 43. It could be a large-footed woman or a small to average-footed man. This is, unfortunately, the worst, most vague shoe size there is.
The prints look like one person went back and forth.
Between that and that.
Elevator doors and the barred door. The print doesn't look like the odd-soled print we found at the hanging, Kim.
The size looks about the same, actually. They're not the same shoe, but they could be the same person. I wouldn't rule out Ruby coming here yet. This isn't an argument against her. People change shoes, you know. But it's not an argument for her either.
This doesn't look like the workers' boots from the hanging, does it?
No. These little horizontal lines are different. They look custom-made to me. Or some kind of foreign print. Hard to say. Still a boot, though.
Get up.
Everything around you is quiet. The prints crisscross the workshop floor.
Let's move on. Alright, now I gotta change my clothes up here. We need, we'll put this on for now. We got visual calculus going. Don't need less perception. What do I currently have? Composure? Oh yeah, perception. This gives me visual calculus. That's what I need. Oh man, I am a hardened detective. Look at me. I'm as serious as they come. Pinball machine has been taken apart and gutted. Oh my goodness. Pinball maker's coat? Empathy, high hand coordination. Schematics for pinball machine. Futurism themed. Boxes of tools and replacement parts line the shelves. Small windows taped shut with black plastic you can't see outside. A working elevator? The pinball is white Diodora. The back glass shows a female figure. Note, NB, the spare key is tied to the bush outside the corner room window. $5.
Over there, in the corner.
The pinball machine?
Not just any pinball machine. This is the pinnacle of pinball. Cornelius Gordy and the Mountain Goats. It's lit. You can't wait to get your hands on it.
Kim, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
The pinball machine. Gordy's Goats. A classic.
Wait, you've played it?
A little.
Feels like a lot. Too much to play it again.
Take a closer look.
Ah, great.
Cornelius Gordy and the Mountain Goats reads the golden lettering on top of the back box. There's a small column of text underneath. The machine is coin operated. Get the game on, finger boy. Those flippers are ready.
Lean closer to read the text.
Above the painting of a mustached man climbing a hill, the column reads, inspired by the legend of Cornelius Gordy, taken on the world's tallest peak, Corpus Windy. The Mesk legend holds that when the nation is in danger, heroic Gordy shall return and save his people.
Respect the playing field.
The theme of the game is to explore Gordy's climb through the perspective of goats and to ascend to the top of the mountain in a time of trouble. The peak of the mountain is at the top of the playfield. All the balls have small goat icons on them and represent the goats as they race up and down the mountain. Areas around the playfield represent Gordy's climb, places he was said to have camped, which the goats can discover. Get them to the summit.
What's with all the goats?
Indeed. Think of them as balls.
Put a buck in.
It takes a while to get into a rhythm, but pretty soon you're able to keep 3 goat-faced balls in play with relative ease. Go, go, finger boy.
I feel sorry for the gods. If they only knew the kind of guy old Cornelius really was.
What kind of guy was he?
The kind of a guy who uses the word savages a lot when recounting his travels. A masked nationalist.
A racist mountaineer?
An avid huntsman too. He was often photographed in his dining hall, surrounded by wall-mounted hunting trophies from every continent.
That is not cool.
He also hit his wife and kids. Other people's kids too. Sometimes pets. Hateful little man. But you seem to be having fun.
I'm pretty good at this.
Your game is definitely improving. The jolly goats are flying all over the board, and although a few plummet to their deaths, you're never left with less than 3. Suddenly, a special passage leading to the summit slides open at the top of the board. This is where the balls need to go.
Concentrate.
Maneuvering a goat ball into a position for a perfect hit isn't easy. More fall to their deaths. But finally, the opportunity presents itself. One of them gets through. Tiny hammer shatters something inside the machine. Something glass. The words "pale rupture" light up on the speaker panel, and the machine starts filling with a thick, milky fog.
Congratulations. This is where the game ends. It's a cheap way of getting more money out of the players. A stupid, nihilistic finale.
There's so much fog, you can barely see anything. Some is actually leaking out of the machine, and one by one, your goats start slipping, disappearing into the milky nothingness. Lucky goats. The fog looks soft and inviting. This can be navigated. The balls leave almost imperceptible disruptions in the fog. Use them to calculate where they hit next. You're down to your last goat, going mostly by sound. Eyes are useless at this point, But that goat is something special. 5 times you snatch him back from the jaws of death. You're in a perfectly balanced system where neither you nor the pal is able to get the upper hand. This could go on forever.
Kim, it can be done, just watch.
I am. I've seen it before. Played it too. You will eventually make a mistake and then it's all over.
How, if you can't even see it? The last goat plummets into the fog with almost suicidal glee. It killed itself to spite you. There goes nothing, finger boy.
Well,
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's painted blue.
this door connected to the one upstairs, but how do we get through?
There must be a key somewhere. Probably somewhere in the whirling. It's not too important.
This small elevator is dimly lit by a bulb that's been glowing for ages. Then it smells of nougat and sweat. Your head brushes up against the ceiling. There is a control panel to your right, and just enough room for 2 people to fit in. The maintenance card under the control panel reads, Last maintenance, 10th July, 88. This elevator must have been used to transport pinball machines to and from the upstairs workshop.
Look at the elevator controls.
There are large rectangular buttons, monter, descente, and an international call for emergency assistance. That third one appears to be broken. The small steel plaque reads Halter 800. Halter is a Koningsteiner lift company who went out of business a long, long time ago.
Says the last maintenance was in 88.
That it does. I say, let's brave it.
This elevator... 88, this elevator was maintained a long time ago.
At the end of the last century. Look on the bright side. If it fails, we will only sustain minor injuries. I'm talking 3, maybe 4 months in the hospital. Maximum 5.
It appears his whole enthusiasm is sarcastic.
So it's mostly pinball machines riding this elevator.
Seems so, although it's pretty quaint for a freight elevator.
Close the doors and go up. Alright.
So this is where they brought 40 pinball machines to fix them up, a long time ago. Everything is covered with dust now. The lieutenant looks around the dusty, crowded room, inspecting the tools on the shelf.
Looks like they gave up on fixing the pinball machines at some point.
At some point, 20 years ago, 15 maybe, before pinball went out of vogue.
This used to be a pinball workshop.
Looks like it. I'm guessing Martinez North 22 used to be a pinball arcade before it became a hostel. There are machines left over.
A creak. Some dust falls off a shelf.
Downstairs in the hall, next to the main door. One of them even works. I've seen one of the Harties bang away at it.
Remember the dice maker? Then that means...
Whirling and Rags was once the East Delta Pinball Arcade. So it's all left over from that.
Ah, yes. As the novelty dice makers said. This has absolutely nothing to do with the case, I'm sure. But I do like a nice little connection.
But then it went bankrupt. Your skin crawls from making the connection.
Could this mean the Whirling and Rags really is part of the doomed commercial area?
If that's true, then our cafeteria manager is not going to like it. We should tell him what we found up here, omitting that suspicion. He does not appear to be the kind of man who likes his establishment to be part of a neighborhood ghost story about bankruptcy.
Stupid superstition. But still, it would be interesting to see what the cafeteria manager thinks of this. It's not a ghost story. It's a curse, and God ought to be made knowledgeable so he can perform counterspells.
I mean... I'm not going to argue against counterspells. So... I'm not going to talk to Classier yet. So there's apparently a bush with a key in it. Maybe? Okay, well, that was kind of, I mean, it was good, but it didn't. Oh, here we go, here we go.
The hawthorn tree on Rue de Saint-Gilles Lane. Bronze-colored ribbons of magnetic tape are caught in its branches, fluttering in the breeze. Just like promised, you've stood here for what seems like eons, guzzling the sickly fumes of lorries and carriages.
Good Hawthorne.
Patting the tree reveals a small sticker which has almost been worn to oblivion. It reads, RCM Emergencies Desk, number 8102, underneath a slogan, Mankind, be vigilant. The bronze ribbon twists around and within the branches in an intricately natural pattern. But there's something.
What do I see?
There's a twisted logic in this mess. You see the ends of the ribbon, the way it flows, how it twists and turns. It's all starting to make sense. It'll be easier to remove now.
Okay. Interfacing, huh? I mean, put on the special gloves. Right, I think that's it.
The gnarled hawthorn tree on Rue de Saint-Gilles Lane. A wintry breeze blows by. With slow and deliberate motions, pulling, bending, and unraveling, you manage to extricate the magnetic tape from the branches. It curls up into a mess inside your pocket. If only you could find a way to re-spool it, so that you could hear what's on the tape. Maybe Roy from the pawn shop can help you with this.
What's the tape for?
It's for Egghead. I promised to make him Van Eyck's jam a bit harder. Maybe this can help.
How? It's broken and unspooled. Do you think your new buddy knows how to fix it?
I think at least one of the ravers would know how to fix a broken tape if they want to set up a nightclub.
You could also get it fixed at the pawn shop across the street. We shouldn't waste our time.
Good idea. He might have the tools. The tape projector in the pawn shop uses similar tape.
Footfall within, not human. Up there, Phasmid, perhaps? No, but you know it's a dog.
You see a Samaran. The name?
Happy shopping, officer. Everything's cool.
From out on the bay, a cool wind.
Sorry, I'm skipping this.
Sweeps into the city.
Thought I talked to this guy before.
Textiles hanging around the stand. Some distance away, the sound of a tin can clattering across the street can be heard.
You're very cool. Bang, 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 bang.
Really? You think I'm cool?
Oh, yes. You got style. You got personal style. You know what you like. You like premium menswear. Look around and browse. Everything looks cool on a guy like you. Take your time.
Don't be distracted by the flattery and funny man act. Questions.
Only the coolest goods in Revachol. I got sneakers, speakers, extremely comfy pants too. Try them on right here. No shame, only freedom.
Where'd you get comfy pants?
I'm an entrepreneur, officer. I've got sources, buyers, suppliers, distributors, manufacturers, wholesalers, all extremely cool and above board. Anything for you.
Who knows? That guy could have some info, but
This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads René Arnaud. René left his uniform neatly folded on the table.
Take the uniform.
I suppose René is not going to be needing it anymore. It's a bit too colorful for my taste, though.
It's needed for work and all that.
Fantastic. Try not to wear it with other similarly colorful clothes, okay?
This is the night watchman's.
Probably not gonna wear it. Yeah. Reaction speed, empathy, eye-hand coordination. Alright, well. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna wear it. Just had to check.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Taking a little break. I'm back. I'm back. So quick save before going in.
Hey, was there something you needed?
And saw another thing.
Another thing. Great. I love those.
Saw a sign that I can't go into the kitchen. Why can't I go into the kitchen?
What are you, a cook now? That's none of your business.
But there may be something pertinent to the investigation in my kitchen.
He wasn't
in the kitchen.
pan-fried. He was lynched. What could the kitchen possibly have to do with... Fine, okay. The kitchen is closed until 1 p.m. because the cook is working. You can snoop around after that, if you must.
What if I told you I got into the back room behind the steel door?
Oh, okay. Well, I did hear you make noise back there, so good for you.
He's really, really holding himself back here. It takes a lot of willpower not to ask. Obviously, he's been wanting to know what's behind the door.
Aren't you going to ask me what's back there?
Okay, what is back there?
Pinball machines. A pinball workshop.
Ha! I knew it. I've always wondered where those machines by the door came from. And they told me there was some kind of pinball thing here too. I knew it. Were there any back there? In working order, I mean.
Why, do you want to play? Because I might be up for a game.
No, I was just wondering if you found pinball machines there.
Thinking of turning this place back into a pinball arcade?
No, but we could diversify the entertainment options, seeing as you've opened the door back there. The machine we have in the corner now is broken. It wouldn't hurt to get a little life in here, other than the hellish karaoke machine. That one's always causing trouble.
Yeah, those numbers he's adding up must be making good sense to him right now.
It's your own fault. Cat got locked in a room.
Sounds like he cares about the place. He's not going to be overjoyed to hear that it's part of the doomed commercial area. He should still know. You have to be forewarned about these things.
Classier in room 3. She nicked the phone line. There's a peephole in the wall.
What wall?
Upstairs in the secret back room right next to Classier's bedroom. I found it when I found the pinball machines.
I'll have it fixed at once. Thank you for letting me know. I assure you, the Whirling does not abide spying on its guests.
The color has drained from his face.
Alright, you've been notified.
Thank you. I'll patch it up personally. Was there something else about the establishment? I hope not.
I have to warn you, I may have discovered that the Whirling is part of the doomed commercial area.
What? Why would you say that? We're at a completely different address from that whole thing.
So he knows of the doomed commercial area and its address. He's thought about this.
Wait, so you know of the curse?
Everyone knows of it.
The Whirling is listed on the intercom outside. It's one of the businesses in Building B. You should get your wiring fixed. I tried to call, I couldn't reach you.
I've been working here for a long time, and that intercom has never been used by the Whirling.
The Whirling was once the East Delta Pinball Arcade, which failed, though perhaps the Whirling will escape the curse.
Does this look like part of a doomed commercial area? This pre-revolutionary tilework, these high ceilings, the nice rooms, well, most of the rooms. For 14 years, man, that's how long I've worked here. I've kept this place up through hail and through sleet. fuck me, some doom ghost.
He's done a fine. Though he's spoken of the place dismissively before, the hostel is actually very important to him.
Robot vacuum cleaners wrecking things downstairs. Wow. Today's a day. Woo! You really care about the whirling, huh?
Yeah, it's slowly growing on me again. It's beautiful in its own way, especially for this neighborhood. I've been trying to keep it that way, even if it is part of the damn doomed commercial area.
Aha, so you finally admit it?
Yes, your police skills have delivered. I'm sure you'll get a commendation, maybe even a promotion.
Who owns this place?
Some real estate management company. They never come around here, just collect money from afar. Honestly, I think some money laundering might be involved.
And who named it Whirly and Rags?
Well, it sure as hell wasn't the real estate company.
It was you?
You look surprised. What? It's a great name, I know. Cafeteria managers come up with great names too. It's from a song.
A song?
Hail, Holy Queen, by the Ateneers. Hail, Holy Queen of the Sea. You're whirling in rags, you're vast and you're sad.
Good pick.
What about the other cafeterias you manage?
What about them? One is a basement dive frequented by chain-smoking communists. I can't tell you how sick I am of Kraz Mazov and Ignis Nielsen and all those old ghosts.
He's hesitating, not sure if he should share this information with you. Encourage him.
And the others?
The other is a kebab cart. It's very successful in its way, but it's nothing like the whirling. What about them?
He's hesitating, not sure if he...
Anyway, I thought we were talking about the whirling.
Well, good luck to you with this place then.
Luck has got nothing to do with it. I need to think about where I'm going to place those pinballs. I have a feeling they're going to help.
Against the doom, it's implied.
So, if you didn't have anything else to tell me about my establishment, can we, wrap it up?
Glossier in room 3. She nicked the phone line.
No, fuck it. I don't want to know. I don't want to know why these degenerates do what they do.
He really doesn't like it being classier.
I bet you didn't want it to be her.
What's that supposed to mean? Fuck you, buddy. She's not my taste. Good thing she pays for her stuff on time.
Wow. She really isn't his taste. Her spell hasn't spread here.
Now, was there anything else? Why?
He really doesn't like it being classier.
You have Lena. Lena's a good customer.
Yeah, well, she's not a guest, is she?
What? Did someone mention my name?
We were just paying you a compliment. And finding out a degenerate from room 3. Good thing that guest pays for her stuff on time. I'll forward her the bill and be done with it. Was there anything else? Yes.
Kind of don't want to have told him about her. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to go back in time. This is... Oh shit, it's snowing? I was supposed to come back somewhere when it's snowing. So I'll be back to Gart. I'm supposed to come back here when it's snowing? I've got time, so I was supposed to go somewhere when it's snowing. Now, it definitely could just be a fool's chase, and it probably is. But, I don't even remember where it was. Jamrock Shuffle hasn't failed me now. I cannot tell you that the fact that these stairs right here are available to walk is just so triggering. Yellow moss on these stones are probably stolen from someone's garden. Well, I may not get my answer. Could go like scrub the video.
This is it. The scene of the party, the fire pit, cigarettes, and empty bottles all evidence it.
Hold up. Don't you mean the scene? Yeah, sure looks a lot of folks partied here.
Looks like they were here a while, judging from all the bottles. The sunken motor carriage provided them a focal point, like a goose ice sculpture or a chocolate fountain.
So I had a couple partygoers here.
Looks like it.
Looks like they had a great time laughing here.
Hey, let's keep moving, detective.
Somehow, he doesn't want to dwell on it.
I've been in this room a bunch of times. Nothing really changes about it. All right, let's try it.
Aye, the sea's gonna calm down soon. I can feel it. The wind is turning southeast. What's on your mind, officer? Oh? Well, how can I assist you then, officer?
Maybe it's time to talk to Joyce. Let's see. Repair the tape. Titus. Kids. All right. Let's travel here.
Hi, Ace Detective. Hello again, esteemed officer.
Tune changed. Sea breeze carries more than salt. Meat, not rotten, not fresh, grilled. Oh, they're just picking up.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Got more questions about reality.
More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
What times are these?
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late.
Too late for what?
For the big time.
What's the big time?
The revolution.
Ha! And what is this revolution I keep hearing about?
It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
Who got shot in the head?
Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head. Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed.
She likes the totality of it.
You could say they totally got shot in the head.
Indeed. They piled them in mass graves in Ozon. And, well, that's the last anyone heard of those people.
Did the communists and the anarchists shoot back?
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
Truly a kerfuffle.
Yeah, it was a kerfuffle, all right.
Yes. The Insulindian deluge, they call it.
Anyone else get shot in the head on the opposing side?
Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
Cowardly king.
I prefer the term risk-averse. King Guillaume was nobody's fool. He could smell a PR disaster brewing, so he got out alive, and his nephew Fricelle got shot in his place. Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time.
Who got the mineral rights?
The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything.
Okay, and by liberals you mean...
Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well.
How did the liberals win it all?
They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
We. She's one of them. Of course.
If everyone got shot, who was there to surrender to?
To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
Wait, you just said the liberals already took everything.
The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground. The ocean, the laws, and the people.
Who are the coalition?
The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-la-Clay. The armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
There is bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding. She is critical, but ultimately understands the cause.
Moralist?
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government. This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky. Unofficial. For a moment, there was hope.
I don't think I'm a moralist, ma'am.
Of course. Not easy to be moderate about head shooting in your line of work.
When was this kerfuffle?
The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end, nearly the whole world had gotten involved.
Who started it?
It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Mazov came along and overthrew the government.
What did this Tsareth do?
It made people overthrow their governments.
Wow, really?
Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark.
It was a funny time in history. They discovered transistors and rock music, but they didn't know anything about prions. Nobody did.
Where did it spread from there?
From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end.
What came next?
Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar.
Our lives are not the same.
No doubt.
Yo, child granny.
Time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you think.
How's it going, child granny? Welcome to the stream. Just compressing the shit into my brain. Doing good, doing good. Having a happy Friday. Playing some video games here. Doing exercises, good to hear. I gotta do me some exercises after I get done streaming here today. Hope you're having a good one. Hope the house is doing well. What is the zone of control?
A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations. And you, of course, the citizens' militia.
Disco Elysium is great. It is long, dark, complicated, and pretty superb political, social, and cultural commentary. Oh yeah, I gotta stop by sometime.
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage.
The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune.
What happened in the rest of the world?
Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery communication. Telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Wait, you're saying it's been like this for 43 years?
Time flies.
What have we been doing all that time?
The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. 08 to 19 was simply hell.
You've entered the stream and the game in like pseudo exposition dump of information. I've been putting off talking to her for a while, but we're supposed to come to her and where is it? To talk to Joyce about, oh, here it is. Get a reality lowdown. You have no idea where you are. Lena encouraged you to ask others to explain the world to you in greater detail. Perhaps try a rich person. Keep asking Joyce questions about reality or return later. So, I have amnesia, and I'm asking a rich person what the world is. Explain everything. What is this time and place in the situation that we're in? So, I'm on day 5 of the game. And getting a reality lowdown. So it's just kind of asking questions, getting answers.
The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere.
Then you happened. Your youth in the 30s.
We're getting closer to solving the murder, and that's really the goal of the game. So, I mean, by technically end of day 5, maybe day 6, the game could be wrapping up.
All that untaxed income must have fueled the new. That can only mean one thing.
That's when they discovered disco.
Yes, and quantitative easing. It was a market mirage, unfortunately. The 40s dispelled it. An Isla-wide hangover, you might say. So, here we are. Welcome to reality, baby.
For her to be where she is, Wild Pines Group must have picked the right side.
Which side was Wild Pines Group on?
They picked the winning side. That's why they're here, and others are not.
I got lucky.
Perhaps it wouldn't have turned out that way had I been in charge. I might have bet on the king and led the Pines to doom.
You'd have sided with the king?
I would have sided with the cannons. If you'd seen the calibers of the things, you might have too. Perhaps it's better I was born when I was. 10 of the 14 Indo tribes got it wrong. Feld, Kupri, Tricentennial. So I suppose I would have been in good company.
She narrows her eyes, turning her gaze to the future out of professional habit.
So this whole game takes place in a fictional world that's very close to ours. So there's a lot of like nations and languages and social policies and everything like that that are really close to ours, but they have completely different names, so you can't exactly like pinpoint this thing as this thing. We're on a I'm assuming that we're in something like the Pacific Ocean, but it could be the Atlantic. It's like an ocean somewhere, a series of islands, like an archipelago, that is gone through political turmoil with nationals fighting communists, and then other countries intervened, took over, and then the different islands and regions were sectioned off by different like police precincts basically, but then this one area where all of this turmoil happened, no one could agree, like the police weren't able to maintain control over it, or like a workers union took over, and now there's like a zone of social unrest or something like that. So there's like a police precinct on either side of this area and no police precinct that actually manages it. So when a murder happened, there's no police to do anything. So one precinct sent in one police officer, that's me, and then the neighboring police precinct sent in another police officer, and that's my partner. And we're tasked with trying to determine what happened. Sorry, I had like a splinter in my toe. Hoits. So there's a murder, and we've been trying to figure out who did it, for what reasons, and we still haven't figured out who did it and why, but we're finding out more clues. A local union gang claims that they did it. They hanged the man. But we're finding out that he was in the middle of having sex with someone who was like a... what's the right word? She's like a political... I can't remember the right word. She's like escaping. This is like a pirate, like free zone city. So she's escaping her government by hiding here. And she was having sex with this guy who was like another like political, like mercenary guy. And they were having sex, and he got shot in the head. And she ran downstairs and it's like, oh my gosh, what happened? And the union's like, we'll cover this up. And they hang the guy. They hang his corpse. So everyone thinks everyone thought it was a hanging. But old thinky brain, we store the body in cold storage. And then we've already done a field autopsy. We come back and we do a little bit more searching, and we found out that there's a bullet that we didn't find before. So that leads us to ask more questions and uncover more story. So technically, we could have just you could just call it a day and say it's a hanging, and then, the game ends, and you're like, okay, well, these guys did the hanging, and that's the end. But no, we found out that there's more to the story. So there's different endings based on how many, what leads you find and what you're able to figure out.
All she can see are vague outlines of a great winding down. The doldrums. People killed, but no great transitions.
Sorry to spoil things, but it's complicated.
Something you can't put your finger on.
What would you have done differently?
Good question. What would you have done differently?
No, her first.
I asked you, who are you in all this?
And I asked you, past-less detective of the Citizens Militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given to you?
Yeah. And what's cool, I don't know if you saw this before at all when I was playing, but there's different like stats and stuff. And they determine conceptualization, suggestion, empathy, reaction speed, pain threshold. Determine what you say in conversation to people, what thoughts you have, your ability to notice things in the surrounding, interact with other objects. So it's a really cool thing. And then you also have clothes that you can wear that adjust your stats. You can have these inner thoughts, which you can store in your mind. Like this one is about, I'm a police officer, so I open doors, and it gives you little bonuses in opening doors. Or I was trying to find a cryptid, some bird or insect or something like that that has that makes a sound that is pure silence. It is quite cool. It's a very big game. I'd have sought a medical solution. Sounds like Sarath drove these people mad.
A cold creeps up your spine, reaching its tendrils up your neck, toward the back of your head.
So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion, a complex folding protein, unlife, with the technology 50 years ago?
Some hygiene, modest social care, and perhaps a little research program.
The wind stops, and for a moment, there's silence. The charge dissipates into the dark water. All is quiet on the Martinez inlet. A dog barks. A gunshot echoes off the walls of some distant building. A woman's voice.
There is peace in the heart.
Good hygiene. Really. A very moderate solution to an extreme problem. It's those sort of half measures that doomed the authorities in Grad. When they failed to step up, Marzov and his party stepped in. In this particular case, maybe a more robust state response might have been appropriate.
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM.
And what is your official position, Lieutenant?
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position. The abattoir.
Understandable.
It's enough about the
They are
times.
what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer.
I want to know what you are.
She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
What are you?
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra.
She raises the corner of her mouth, smirking, revealing a canine.
Wait, what is an ultra?
An ultra-liberal. It's a type of liberal. From the revolution. It's, not the moderate kind.
Cool. I liberate myself pretty hard myself.
No, not like me. I am the nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp who pushed the king under a shitwagon and betrayed the revolution. Are you liberated enough to offer up your home on a plate for financial colonists? No, I think not. Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, do you find me frightening?
In her green eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride. Forgive her, but only because you like pearlescent teeth and those light, green eyes.
I forgive you.
I do hope so. I do hope we're able to remain collegial despite it all. Tell me, when you look in the mirror, do you not see a monster staring back at you?
Oh, yes.
When the dust settled, the Liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed.
Would you have done something differently?
With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery.
While a gentle wind sweeps the streets in the rebuilt east, light drizzle washing it clean, lights go up and motor carriages circulate the tracks.
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake.
She realizes her small, cold fists are clenched. She loosens them.
So here, my composure isn't that great. It's at a 4. I have +2 from my stat in motorics. I don't even know how to say that. I put a skill into it, a point, and then I have pants, I think. Composure pants. And then my thoughts could increase it as well. But because I have enough points in this, I passed there's a bunch of checks happening all the time, every time you go through talking. And if you pass, then it'll give you a nice little extra blurb of text that might open up other dialogue options.
Then for my daughters, we had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isola down rather than let them have it.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes. An oil fire on the ocean.
You're a smart woman.
Perhaps. My intellectual vanity will be my undoing.
You're no dummy yourself.
So am I.
A smart boy getting smarter. One basic term of reality at a time.
You're a patriot?
Yes, I suppose I am. But I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here.
Seditious talk, man.
You have daughters?
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife.
What is all...
Shall we return to reality?
What is this? Spread your hands.
A Svenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions?
Keep guessing.
Some sort of krill hunter? No, wait. You're an ancient ruin. A symbol of hubris and decay. Half submerged in some salty sea.
Are you saying I'm ruined?
Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games.
I mean, what is this place here?
Ah. This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or 2.
What is Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A?
A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux. They're old. This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta. That was before the war, of course.
Who lived in them?
Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off. Splat, splat.
From a dilapidated balcony, a young girl in odd clothes gives Joyce an evil eye, a red paintbrush held to her throat.
You could be wrong, but from here it appears as if she's running the brush across her throat in a soaring motion.
Wonderful.
What is that? Point to Cindy the Skull.
The girl in the old lady rags?
Yeah.
Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture.
Infraculture?
Yes. You and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture.
I understand everything. Make it more complicated somehow.
I can't. That's how simple it is. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's coat all they want. Capital has the ability to subsume all critiques into itself. Even those who would critique capital end up reinforcing it instead. All right. What next?
Suddenly, you're not so sure you're part of the supraculture.
I think I may be part of the infraculture.
And what would that be?
Disco.
I can see that, yes. I dabbled in those dark arts myself, not so long ago. I assure you, it was a thoroughly supracultural phenomenon. All permeating. Downright mandatory. Nothing infra about disco, baby.
You're a disco?
Those days are long behind me. And even in the early 30s, I would say I was more of a new girl. Disco was a minor, but still enjoyable facet of the whole thing for me.
The new?
The new. A cultural era. And the name of the decade it ravished, the 30s. It came out of post-revolutionary Revachol. It was ultra-liberal. It involved lots of partying, as you might imagine, and champagne-colored everything. By the looks of it, that would have been when you came of age. Now.
Sounds fun. I can't remember a single thing.
Wasn't it Guillaume Le Million who said, if you can remember the new, you weren't there?
Wait. I was just thinking about that guy. Whatever happened to him?
Ah, yes. This is not very central to reality, is it?
I still want to know.
I can't be 100% sure, but I believe he died due to complications from venereal disease.
So here we have a thought option about it. Whatever happened to Guillaume Le Million, who, with his amber mane and sparkling teeth, beguiled the tattered remains of the nation? While you suffered and suffered, did he dematerialize in a cloud of cocaine dust? Or did he simply stand in the corner and melt into the slendering new lines of some starlit boîte de nuit 20 years ago? Spare a thought for his great ass, too. Or wait, maybe he became a police officer in the Revachol West. Which one?
All of them.
So you're saying he didn't vanish in a buff of stardust?
I'm afraid no. But then again, one can't be entirely sure. It's all part of his mystique. Ask someone else and you may get a more champagne-colored take. Anyway, what other basic facets of reality should we discuss?
So here's one. I have to have a high conceptualization in order to pass this check. It's like 2 6-sided dice. If you get snake eyes, you lose. If you get double sixes, you always win. Almost always win. And then one of my thoughts gives me a plus 12. And then I've thought about Dolores Day, which is like kind of like a Jesus Christ sort of figure in religion here. So it's not 100%. I don't have a 100% chance of nailing this skill check because I could roll snake eyes and lose. But
glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else?
I'm going to quick save. I'm going to try that check.
You're back. Good. More lessons lessons in basic reality.
What is reach for something
My
fundamental?
favorite part of the day.
What is all of this? The scent, the sound, the air.
What world is this?
What world? The only one, I suppose. The world of matter. And its pale antipode.
The pale is something that I need to learn about.
The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water.
What do you see?
Great bodies of water. Forest-covered surfaces. Clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage. We all have. This world is enough.
It must be. This is the greatest and the kindest arrangement the atoms had in them.
The best of all possible worlds.
Indeed. There is a term of endearment they coined for it in the DeLorean century, when humanity was high on this world, discovering more and more of it. These archipelagos included.
What is it?
Elysium.
Elysium. The world needs a term of endearment.
It does. There are those who would call it hell.
What is hell?
A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the Mesk petro-fascists.
I don't feel like I've got the whole world picture yet.
Oh, you want a picture of the world? There is no complete set yet, dear. They're having some trouble reaching orbit.
How come?
Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we're viewing the world from the inside, sideways.
How about it's a ball?
That's looking less and less likely, Detective. You wouldn't know it from the tabloids, but the ORG nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower ionosphere since the 30s.
ORG, Occident Revachol Grad.
There's a steadily increasing trickle of images. Between the big three, they're piecing together a dark grey corona.
A dark grey corona?
Yes. Pale covers 72% of the surface. There are grey flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolas. The images are blurry, but if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago.
The pale? And what do you mean, corona?
They say there is a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we are still living on a planet. Or, to speak more plainly, imagine vast swathes of land disrupted by nothingness. I am sorry, dear. It must sound quite terrifying through the acute encephalopathy. Even scientific positivism isn't entirely convinced about what we're dealing with here. But this is one of the greatest questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together, however naive it may sound.
A fractured corona doesn't feel like it's going to bring anyone together.
You have misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect and geometry of the images that depict our world from below low orbit. It's like the crowning of the world. It's insane. Very disco. You'd love it.
Well, if you say it's disco.
See? Everyone finds something worth holding on to in this world, however wasted its opportunities.
The cold seeps into you. The air is heavy with 80% humidity. Suddenly, you're conscious of yourself standing there, on whatever this all is. Your arms hang down by your sides. The lieutenant observes you both, silently. He adjusts his glasses.
The pale. You said pale. What is the pale?
The pale is not, technically speaking, part of reality.
Yes. Also, I think we've had enough excitement for today. We do have a case to attend to.
Of course, Lieutenant. Let's try something else.
I don't want to. I want to know what the pale is. What do you mean it's not part of reality?
Ma'am, Remember, you are dealing with a very sensitive and impressionable police officer who is still recovering from a recent medical episode.
The lieutenant's right. Let's change topics.
But she wants to tell you. You could sneak back later when he's not around, unless you can convince him to step aside.
Ask for Kim to step away while you discuss the Pale.
Good idea. Just ask him. He won't make a scene.
Kim, can I talk to the man alone for a second?
Fine.
See? What can he do? You're a grown man.
Now, what is the Pale?
Are you sure you're sure? Your colleague seemed adamant.
Yes, what is the Pale?
Okay. The Pale is the most dominant geological feature of the world, Detective. The separative tissue between the islas. It is the inter-islary mass.
Wait, and what is an isla?
Isla is a Messinian word for a continent of matter, enveloped on all sides by the Pale. Also, isolation, or landmass. We used to believe there was only one. In the last 4 centuries, we have discovered 7. Windy, Seol, Samara, Ilmara, Grad, Katla, and this, Insulinde.
And Insulinde is...
an oceanic isla. It comprises mostly of water. Muindi is the largest, Katla the coldest, Insulinde the bluest. What can I say? Each is perishing and dear.
Okay, what is the Pale like?
Achromatic, odorless, featureless. The Pale is the enemy of matter and life. It is not like any other, or anything in the world. It is the transition state of being into nothingness.
Is it here?
No, Detective. We're safe. It begins there, 6,000 kilometers to the north, and even more to the south, east, and west. You are in the middle of the isla.
As your gaze instinctively turns north, a small black pit opens up in your stomach.
6,000 kilometers from the end of the world?
Yes. That is enough. Many cities are built much closer.
And there?
An uproar of matter, darling. Rising into the Pale. Rolling. Evaporating even. A great vision. The area of transition between the world and the Pale is called Porch Collapse. Imagine a grey coronal mist. Cold vapor marked by spores of an opportunistic microorganism. A mold that's adapted to grow at the edge of the unrest. It's the most disco thing you will ever see.
What are its physical qualities?
It's difficult to describe, or even measure. Something whose fundamental property is the suspension of properties. Physical, epistemological, linguistic. The further into Pale you travel, the steeper the degree of suspension. Right down to the mathematical. Numbers stop working. No one has yet passed the number barrier. It may be impossible.
If we're surrounded by Pale, how do you get from Isola to Isola?
Oh, it is so difficult for us.
A squall of birds. Hardware operating in the harbor. Firm. Self-evident.
It is possible to force dimensions on the Pale. In modern times, we can even compress its latitude, bouncing radio waves from one end to the other, shortening the path. But it is still hard for humans to navigate the Pale without getting lost, or having our minds damaged.
The Pale can damage the mind?
Extensively.
How?
Some say the damage stems from extreme sensory deprivation. Others argue that Pale somehow consists of past information that's degrading, that it's rarefied past, not rarefied matter. They call it the blend over of the self. The Pale does not only suspend the laws of physics, but also the laws of psychology, maybe history even. The human mind becomes over-radiated by past.
Who says and who argues?
Who says and who argues?
The logical positivists say the dialectical materialists argue.
What does this over-radiation feel like?
It feels terrible. Absolutely terrible. International standards strictly limit civilian travelers to 6 days of pale exposure per year.
It's more for her. Way more.
You're not a civilian passenger.
No, Lieutenant Dubois. I'm entreprenetic business class. I'm cleared and trained for 22 days of pale transit annually.
Perhaps that explains her strange pining after the revolution. Some degraded early memories.
Are you over-radiated?
Up to my gills, officer.
What is entroponetic?
Entreponetics is the scientific study of the pale, or a recent iteration of it by way of grad. The study of the pale reaches back 6,000 years. The Pericarnassians called it the Western Plain.
They had not traveled the entire circumference of the Pericarnassian Super E Solar. It was not merely in the west, it was everywhere, even then, surrounding them.
Did they cross it, the Western Plain?
There are signs of pre-modern crossings. Successful navigation of the pale relies not just on technical know-how, but intensive psychological preparation. Some of these tactics have been known for thousands of years.
What has entroponetics changed then?
Nothing. We remain powerless before the pale. The only real advance in pale transit is the speed with which an aerostatic craft can pierce it. Less exposure leads to less effects later.
Aerostatic craft? Child Granny says, gonna go make some food. Thanks for sharing about the game. Good to see you. Well, Child Granny, thanks for stopping by. I'm gonna end the stream here soon, after I get done talking about this. I appreciate hearing from you. Hope you're doing well, and I hope you have some good food. Thanks for checking in. I'll catch you on the flip side.
Hybrid airships, Detective. Conventional rotors or jet engines no longer add velocity after the point of
I'll see you later.
for motion is suspended, once you've crossed from near pale to far pale. In essence, we throw them in and they come out the other end. If we throw them precisely. Then they don't.
Gone, like a skipping stone beneath the surface.
How much pale is there compared to the world?
The pale outweighs reality 2 to 1. There is more pale than there is matter, and the ratio is slipping.
Slipping how? To our detriment, or?
What do you think, Detective?
It's shrinking. There's more and more of the world.
Oh no, Detective. It's not. One of the few measurable effects of the pale is that it is expanding at an unknown rate. An intuitive conclusion of that development is that one day the pale will cover everything. But this sort of talk is mostly left to extremists.
Cover everything? That can't be. Where would we go?
Most people, and indeed most private and government sector organizations, entire civilizations and religions even, find handy ways to ignore or downplay that knowledge. I suggest you do the same.
Off we go. You see the hanged man's mouth open.
Off we go into the wild pale yonder.
One and all. They say pale is death, but for the universe.
Why should we just leave, and the world get left behind?
Let's return to reality, please.
Yes, sweet reality. But before we do, tell me, Detective, is this the first time you're hearing this? Do you really not remember anything?
I'm getting a sense of who I am, but no, I didn't know any of this.
The beyond curious. Tell me, what do you think of the Pale?
These options are so goofy. Total ruthless communism. Communism. A powerful anti-communist force. What the hell does this? What the hell do these two even mean? I don't know how you've all survived with it. It's a huge accomplishment.
You really didn't know. This does not spell good for the investigation, Detective. If you don't know even this, then...
I'll handle it. It's under control.
I hope so. I truly do. If I may suggest, hold on to your colleague, Kitsuragi. I ran a check on him and he is very competent. In the meanwhile...
Some of that assurance is meant for herself, as much as it's meant for you. She must have a lot on the line here.
You have me. I will assist you in any way I can, even if we have to do it one basic term at a time.
Good. You have not passed out from it. Perhaps I worried for nothing. Are we still on the reality lowdown, or should we do actual police work now?
You needn't have worried.
But I did. Anyway.
Damn it, you're a grown man, the lieutenant thinks. Shouldn't have gotten protective air.
Right. Let's get to work, Lieutenant.
Good luck, detectives.
Well, I have a lowdown on the Pale now. I don't remember what I was supposed to do with that. There was something that I couldn't do because I didn't know about the Pale. There was something that I couldn't do because I didn't know about the Pale. But I don't remember. I wanted to talk to this woman.
The woman still has her eyes fixed on the photo.
Okay. That's a good place to stop. Oh, I gotta get more information from her about the lynching. Check the island for bullet traces. I don't think it's gonna get solved by Friday. We have a while to go. Thank you to everyone who's watched. Thank you to Child Granny for stopping by and hanging out and getting his own reality lowdown, if you know what I mean.